How much money did you make last month as a notary signing agent?
10,000. I was working at a restaurant and I was coming home at 11 o'clock at night and my kids were sleeping at daycare at 11 o'clock at night. And I had to carry one inside the house and then come back for the other one. I did not want that for my family. I didn't want that for me. It was killing me. I wanted my time. It's very rewarding to know that I did that, you know. From where I came from, I did that, you know. I worked, I hustled, and I did it, and I made it possible.
If you're wondering what the journey of a $10,000 a month notary signing agent is, you're going to want to watch this video. I'm Mark Wills, the largest notary signing agent coach in America, here with one of my students, Marleny, out of Pennsylvania. How you doing today, Marleny?
I'm doing well, Mark. How are you?
I am so good. So to inspire people right out of the gate, how much money did you make last month as a notary signing agent?
10,000.
$10,000. When I say back to you that you have a $10,000 a month signing agent business, what kind of feelings go through your body?
Oh my God, I get chills because I didn't even think I could make that in a month, you know? So definitely, it's very rewarding to know that I did that, you know? From where I came from, I did that, you know. I worked, I hustled, and I did it, and I made it possible.
I love it. 2024 interest rates are 8%. You're still doing $10,000 a month. You're on track for your biggest year yet.
Yes.
You are 3 years been a loan signing system student. So, you know, you said the statement 2 seconds ago, where I came from.
Yes.
So let's talk about that. I know you're a single mom, 2 children.
3 actually.
3 children. I apologize. 3 children.
Okay.
Take people back, man. How do we get here? Let people know that if you're a single mom of 3 kids, you can be a $10,000 a month signing agent too. But where did this all start? How did we get here? Take us back to the beginning.
So Mark, let me say, obviously, you know, I'm an immigrant, and when I had the opportunity to come to America, I wanted to make a difference in my life and my family's life. And the journey has been it's been wild. I lived in housing projects. I one time received food stamps, and then, you know, eventually moved up to Section 8 housing, which is still living off the government. But I have a drive in me that I wanted to make a difference for me and my family. I became a single mom when my kids were very young, couple months old, and I had to go live in the housing projects. Now I wanted better for them and for myself. And I found you.
I just want to say thank you for that vulnerability and sharing. And, you know, you had every reason to roll in a ball and you didn't, you know, and thank you for letting people know. I mean, now that you are past that part of your journey, you know, how does it feel where you are today? Like, you did this, no one else. Like, you did this, girl.
Oh my God, it makes me feel like you know, I can reach the stars actually. You know, sometimes you lay in your bed when everything is going wrong and everything seems impossible, but times like this actually is like,
Exactly.
you can do it, girl.
More of that. I
You
mean,
can do it, girl, and anyone can do it, you know. I was able to provide, you know, a home for my children that I can call my home, our roof, that I work and pay for, you know. I'm able to take vacations with my family. We've been to Europe. We're going to Mexico in 2 weeks. And no one can tell me I can't go because my vacation wasn't approved or because I don't have any more vacation time. So I'm going. And I did that. And I'm able to do that because of what I did.
I literally got chills hearing you say that. and I'm just proud of you. And I know how hard you work. I've seen the Facebook posts over the years. I've seen you stay engaged in the community, go showing up to trainings. There's no shortage of Mama Bear building something for their family. How do your children look at you now?
Well, I would hope that they are proud of me.
Yeah, I
They
know
don't,
they
they
are.
don't really say that, that there's two older ones and then there's little ones, but when I'm done with signings at 2 or 3 in the afternoon and I go to daycare pick up my son before they close at 5:30 and my son hugs me, that's my price because I don't have to wait for my time, the clock to finish at a job for me to go pick up my son.
Oh God, you got me, girl. I'm starting to tear up. Like,
Yeah.
too often we always talk about the money in this business only because that's what people want to hear. But I'm
Right.
like tired of talking about it because the money is not the best part. It's being able to pick up your child at 2 o'clock when you are done. I know the feeling because I'm a dad too, and to know
Right.
that that's the best part about this business, man. It's not the money. It's
And I can attest to that. I can
I mean,
attest to that.
you're taking your family to Europe, you're going back, you're going to Mexico, like that's the win, you know what I mean? And like you said, you don't need anyone to ask you for time off. You're making the decision. So, what I hear is a mom who's always fighting for her family. And so
Absolutely.
talk to me through kind of the, previous to the previous 3 years, what living paycheck to paycheck kind of felt like. What kind of stress did that have on on you specifically, being a single mom to 3 children? Walk people through that.
So it's like a vicious cycle.
Mm.
For me, when I got the job in banking, I was very excited. I was like, "Oh wow, I'm gonna retire from this company," because it was one of the bigger banks. It's been around for a long time. It's basically practically in all of United States, and I was like, "Oh wow, I'm doing good. I'm gonna retire from this company." And then the digital world came, and people started using online banking, and people were not visiting the branches anymore. And then they started closing branches. And so where I saw myself going, that was not an option anymore. When you have a mortgage, when you're a single mom and you have all of this responsibility on your shoulders, your car payment, your insurance, your mortgage, your utilities, your food, and the kids are growing and now they want, they need bigger shoes or more, they want more expensive shoes but the amount of money that you're making is the same, the math doesn't add up.
Mm.
And so I was like, well, I felt stuck. And I
Mm.
was like, what can I do? What can I do? It's not getting promoted within the company or moving up in the company is not an option anymore. I still have the same, I still gotta pay the same bill because life doesn't get any easier, it gets harder. They don't get cheaper, they get more expensive. Electricity gets and gas and food and things get expensive, more expensive every year. And if you're making, and what are you getting raise wise in a company, yearly? You get a quarter, 50 cents. How does that amount to you, buying your teenage son an extra pair of shoes?
Yeah.
It just doesn't add up. So that's when I was like, okay, what the hell am I gonna do? Because I need to get out of this cycle.
Mhm.
And then, but then you sit and you think about, oh wow, but I have paid time off, or you have medical insurance. And then when you think about those things and you see the opportunity of building a business or building something by yourself and for yourself, you are like, you must be crazy or out of your mind. And people tell you that, and people say, what are you going to do? You talk to friends or family members like, are you crazy? Because they don't have the mindset. So you have to have the mindset. You have to have a vision of where you want to be and where you want to go, because if you don't, it'll never work.
You're so inspirational for so many reasons because, coming from where you came from, immigrant to, to government housing, you could have been like living paycheck to paycheck is the dream, right? Having just enough, like you could have been like, I've made it, quote unquote, but I love how you always wanted more and you didn't stop at that. And so I am agreeing with you, your mindset. I want other people to be inspired by you because some people watch this and they'd be like, the security of the paycheck is the win. But you
Exactly.
realize that no, that's not the win. I'm still
No,
losing. And so it's that amazing fire in you that I want people to be inspired by because you had every reason to be like, oh, the security of the paycheck is I'm good. I got
right.
the mortgage, I got the family, I'm single mom, I got enough to make ends meet. But it's like, no, I'm gonna take this massive risk. But you bet on yourself.
I
And
did.
and I want people to be inspired by that. Where did this betting on yourself come from? Like, is it like talk about that? Because I want people to bet on themselves more. Like you're a
Mhm.
poster child for it.
And as I said, you have to have a vision of where you want to be and where you want to go, and what do you want for you and your family. For me, being single, you have everything on your shoulders. And so if one of the kids got sick or we had to do go to a doctor's appointment or go to a sports event, but you had to be at work. And I didn't want that for me. I was like, I need to do something, build something where I can provide more for my family and I can be, a little bit more available for them. As I mentioned before, when I'm done at 3 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the afternoon with a signing and I go pick up my son early, that's for me is like the cherry on top of the ice cream. You know what I mean? So I wanted more and I wanted to be able to have that freedom. I wanted to be able to have that time freedom to be able to provide that for them.
Well, I mean, you said something that I think everyone needs to hear is you have to have a vision of what you want your life to
Of
be.
what you want your life to be and where you want to be in life. Because if you don't have a mindset or a vision, your that paycheck to paycheck cycle could be what works for you, the winning, the reward for you. For me, it wasn't. I wanted more and I want more and I'm working towards getting more.
I mean, you're so, like I said, you come in as an immigrant, you end up being in government housing, and now you're making $10,000 a month, going to Europe, going to Mexico, take your family being done at a day at 2 o'clock. Could you forget the money? Could you ever imagine a day when your day was over at 2 and you had the next 4 hours with your son before they went to bed? Like, could you imagine that?
I wanted that so bad. I wanted that so bad because I was sitting at a desk at an office and I had to be there. And
Mm,
when it snowed outside, because I live in a cold state and it was snowing, no one was on the roads, I had to be at work.
yeah.
And I completely hated it. I almost cried sometimes when I had to go to
Mm,
work, you know?
yeah.
Um, it was like, for me, that was my drive, you
Yeah.
know? I remember a couple of years ago, I was enrolled in college and I had to drop college because I was going to college, I was going to school I try to cramp my classes into 2 full days so
Mhm.
I can work the other days. And at that time, I was working at a restaurant and I was coming home at 11 o'clock at night and my kids were sleeping at daycare at 11 o'clock at night, you know? And I had to carry one inside the house and then come back for the other one. I did not want that for my family. I didn't want that for me. It was killing me. And then so my vision, I wanted my time,
Mhm.
manage my time. I want to be able to say, hey, this day, and trust me, I've done 7 closings in a day and I drive miles, you know, but when the days are slower, I enjoy that,
Mhm.
and that does it for me.
Thank you for sharing all this. And I just want to give you a hug real quick through here. You know, I'm trying to unpack what you said. Like when you're sick or tired of being sick and tired,
Uh-huh.
it's amazing what can happen, right? But what I love about you, Marlene, is that what I really do is like just because it's bad, it doesn't mean it can't get better. And there's very few stories that I've really felt that like you don't fall victim to what happens.
Exactly.
don't fall victim to the fact that you were in Section 8 housing. You don't fall victim in the fact that, like, you're picking your kids up 11. You knew that there had to be more. But what I love about your story is you're actually doing more. A lot of people talk about it, but they
Right.
don't bet on themselves. They don't take the leap of faith with what we're about to get into about leaving a
Yeah.
9 to 5 and going into entrepreneurship full time. Like, everybody says they want more, but they don't do. But like,
Hmm.
Marleny, like, I don't know what to say, but just thank you for sharing this, because I hope everybody hears that you don't need to stay where you're at. There is better.
There is better, absolutely. There is better. Um, there definitely is better. You just have to make it happen.
If there's a single mom of three watching this right now, and they're in that place, like carrying in their child at 11 o'clock at daycare, and they just think that it can't get better, what would you say to them to help them through that moment that they can do more? And there's more,
If
that they deserve more.
you are a single mom and you think that it's not gonna get better or you cannot get better, well, watch me. If I can do it, and honestly, like I said, if you have a vision and you want better for yourself, there is better and it gets better. But you have to work for it. You have to make it happen. No one is gonna do it for you. No one is gonna do it for you. But there's always people out there that are willing to help you, and that's what I found in this community. Actually, I I became, I took the training and I became a member of the Facebook group and I did the trainings and I took notes. And when I wasn't sure of what I was doing, I asked questions and there was people willing to answer them. So there is help out there. There is a way out there to get it done and make it happen. You go for it.
I'm just, I applaud, because you deserve it. Like, you deserve everything that you have. Like you said, nothing was given, everything was earned. You had moments of the lowest of lows, and going to Europe with your family, I would argue, is the highest of highs. I think deep down, like, tell me if I'm wrong, but I think deep down you knew you deserved more. And I think that's a powerful statement, because when life throws something at you, that you can either accept it, or you can be like, no, 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 no. I deserve, my family deserves more. And I think there's power in that. Am I kind of close?
Oh, you are absolutely correct. I want it more, and it's not just because I wanted it, it's because, why couldn't I have more? I work hard, and my children deserved more. Why not? They deserve more. They deserve more than living in the projects or, being stuck at a daycare till 11 o'clock at night. And they have the right to enjoy, their childhood and their time. And, because then they grow up and one day you're like, oh, you're 18 and now they don't want to, they're their own adults and they have their own lives. And you're like, okay, where did my time go? And then you want to live it with regrets. No, I don't want to live with regrets.
We all deserve more. We all truly, truly deserve more.
Hmm.
And you said what I think embodies the loan signing system way, and that's like, but you got to earn it. Like, you're out there driving for 7 straight appointments. You're out there knocking on doors, which we're about to talk about. And so, just congratulations on your success. I know this is still just the beginning. I think you know that too. And
Yeah.
so I'm so excited to see where you are in the next 3 years in this industry, because
Oh, I can't wait too.
I know, I mean, interest rates are 7 and 8%, and you're doing $10,000 a month. Like, I hope that's inspiring in itself. So let's talk about your income journey, okay? 2022, you made $30,000, okay?
Yeah.
I have a couple questions for you. That was part-time, am I correct? Like, you're still working your full-time job and you had that part-time.
So I left the full-time job, but I got a part-time job so that I can,
Yeah,
kind of make enough to pay the bills while I was building
your
the
business.
the, the business.
Okay, so let me ask you this. You dropped in the industry in 2022, right after interest rates were 2.5% for 2 straight years.
Hmm.
So why were you so happy to like join the industry where a lot of people were leaving at that time. What made you just resilient of like, you know what? I don't care what interest rates are. I'm not going to listen to the internet. I know I can build something in this industry. So walk the people through that watching.
You know what always I kept in my mind was you have to go with the flow. You have to adjust to what is happening in your time. I wasn't around then, but as far as I've heard, at one time in our life, interest rates were 18%,
That's right.
and people were still buying and selling houses. There is always a need for there in the real estate business. There's always a need. Always people are gonna buy, they're going to sell, or they're gonna refinance because people circumstances change. So if you own a home, you need to refinance because a life event happened and you need money. So you're gonna refinance. Oh my God, you got a job offer in another state and you have to move, or you gotta sell the house that you live in and then you have to buy another house where you're moving to. With the times changing and economy, things getting more expensive, people are getting out of the bigger cities. I live in a smaller part of, I live in Northeast Pennsylvania, and I'm 2 hours from Philadelphia, I'm 2 hours from New York and New Jersey, bigger cities, and people are coming here like crazy because they can afford rent. So there's always business. There's always going. Yeah, like in every business, in every, market, every situation, there's ups and downs, there's slower times and busier times. And we see that, but that's not just in real estate.
You're not in Philadelphia.
No, I'm not in a bigger city. I'm here
Yeah.
where things close at 8, 9 o'clock, and you go or you drive around 10 o'clock at night, and you're probably not gonna find almost anything open.
Yeah.
This is a rural area. It is not as bad as I know. There's other more rural areas, but this is a small valley. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, uh, there's not a lot going on here. So whenever you want to like the city experience, you have to drive out of here. Definitely things are cheaper here because it's smaller, but I have seen the change here since I moved here in 2004.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Absolutely.
so the point I was trying to make is, you can be a $10,000 a month signing agent in smaller cities. You just got to do what we're about to talk about. But, 2023 is kind of the year you went direct. Let's talk about that, right? And so if you're watching right now, you get business through signing service or business directly through mortgage professionals. If you get business directly through mortgage professionals, you keep the entire fee. But there is marketing involved. And so I want to talk about that, okay? So 2023 is your first full-time year, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you did $50,000 in 2023. Walk me through the first time you marketed direct. How nervous were you? And again, I'm trying to normalize that nerves are okay. What's not okay is succumbing to them or
Mm-hmm.
bowing down to them, right? You went
Mm-hmm.
through, talk about the first few times you did and kind of the mindset. How nervous were you? Walk people through so they know they're not alone if they're also feeling.
So Mark, from watching the trainings and oh, you do this, you make a list, and I made my list, right? I think there were about 10 of them. And I made my marketing materials, I order stuff and I make my little baskets and on my way. When I got to the first one, I sat there and my hands were sweating and my hands on sweat. My hands were sweating and I was shaking. And I probably visited maybe 5 of them. But that first one, it was like that deciding moment because the nerves were going to take over me. And it was when I thought to myself, okay, so am I gonna let the nerves stop me? First of all, I'm not afraid of people. People are not gonna that I had this stupid thought in my mind. I'm like, okay, well, people don't eat people, so they're not they're not gonna swallow me when I go in there. And then what I thought about is either I make this work or I go back to my job. And that was definitely would have felt as a failure because I left my job. I left a job where I was making, income, and I had vacation time and I had medical insurance. But guess what? If I went back there, I was not gonna have all the benefits or the same probably pay that I had when I was there. I would have had to start new.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, do I start new at my job and feel like crap because I failed, or do I make this work? And I went in and I dropped my
Let me
materials.
stop you real quick. Like, I hope everybody heard that, because what you did was you really said you burned the boats. Like, there was no going back. Like, I make a decision right now. I'm not going back to that life. And I
Mhm.
think too many people choose what they know versus the unknown. And was the unknown is what's
Yeah.
behind that title door.
Hmm.
But I love how you made a decision in that moment of like, I'm not going back. You took a stand. I deserve more. I'm going to get more. And I'm not going to let the past dictate the future. Like, there's so many moments where like you didn't need to make that stand and people would have understood and they wouldn't have blamed you, but you didn't accept less. And I hope everybody hears
I
that.
did not. There was no going back because I had things depending on me, and I had, first of all, my pride, because I was not going to go back and feel like a failure, after all, I've been through and gone through. And I had my children at home, and I had, and my vision was I wanted to be somewhere else. I definitely was not an option. Going back was not an option. But hey, you have to start somewhere. You have to take that first step and make it work. It just have to you have to start somewhere. And actually, it starts getting easier as you start doing it, and I start building relationships, and and when you do a closing and there's an agent there that you've never seen before, introduce yourself, give them your card, and that's how it kind of like it's a domino effect.
Yeah.
It does not happen from day to night. Doesn't happen, sometimes we make the mistake that we want it yesterday.
Yes.
We want it now. And it takes time, and everybody's journey is different, but it works. And
You
we've
know,
seen it.
you are somebody who embodies patience, but growth.
Hmm.
Like the entire journey was like, I'm just gonna keep plugging, I'm keep chugging along, and I'm gonna keep going. It's like it's almost, I tell a lot of you students, like your past has really set you up to be an entrepreneur. And like you had the patience to get through what you got through. You gave yourself grace to get through what you got through, but you're always working. And so if you can combine patience plus work ethic, the stars, the moons is the limit,
Right.
Let's move to the next topic I have in these conversations with successful signing agents. And that is, you know, if you only had one piece of advice to give another signing agent, help grow their business. I know there's a million, but if
Hmm.
you could boil it down to one, what would that be for you?
Make a plan and put it to work and focus on that plan.
Mm,
You have to have a vision of where you want to be and where you want to go in order to make it work. You cannot just be a soccer ball and go from place to place without a vision and a plan. You could start with something small. Let's say you wanna make $3,000 a month. That's how I started. I don't smaller steps.
yeah.
Then when you hit that goal, then you're like, okay, well, what can I do to have a bigger goal? You know what I mean? And then set that goal and then do what it takes.
You said earlier about marketing. You made a plan and found all 10 title companies. Like that's a plan, right? It's not just waking up like,
Mhm.
oh, what am I going to do today? I'm going to go market. No, 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 no. I have a plan. So what I did is I found the 10 title companies where I live. And so what
Mhm.
I'm trying to help people understand is like you're not $10,000 on accident a month. It is
Oh no.
you had a plan. The plan was started with me Googling title companies. The next plan was getting all their contact info. The second plan was going to 5 of them. The third plan is following up. And so I love this. I think a lot of signing agents kind of work haphazardly, not intentionally.
Mhm.
Like the thought is, I want more, but they're not really planning out what the more needs.
Absolutely.
Anything you want to add to that?
That is the only way you're gonna be able to make it work. You cannot think that day one you're gonna jump into that last step of your plan because it doesn't work that way. It takes time. It takes patience, persistence, and commitment.
Oh, that's so good. I'm going to write that down. Patience, persistence, and commitment. That's the literally ingredients to be successful in anything. If you want
In
to lose
anything.
weight, be patient, be persistent, and then,
Commit.
and
You
then
have to
commit to
commit.
that. So anything in life really can use those three ingredients. And so,
Hmm.
what an incredible conversation with such an incredible woman. If you can go back and whisper something in the ear of young signing agent, Marleny, what would you say to that, to young signing agent Marleny, to inspire her to keep going and keep getting at it?
Girl, it's gonna be okay. You're not gonna starve
Mm.
as long as you work and you hustle and you follow the system and you make a plan and you have a vision. It will be okay. I
And
did it. Some days you work all day, but it will be okay.
were there moments you wanted to give up but didn't?
Oh, yes.
Talk about those moments.
The times where, those slow months and you're like, oh wow, I'm not getting messages from signing services or I'm not getting calls from my direct clients. And you sit there and you look around yourself and you're like, you have all these bills to pay and you have 3 kids to feed. And like, what are you doing? Go back and get a job. Get a real job. A job is journey of the broke. And you're gonna be broke as long as you stay in that job because I was, you know. And I'm not saying I have money, but I'm saying there's no limit. I could have never made $10,000 in a month on my job, you know? So there is no limit with this up when I found this opportunity and I saw, I throughout the journey and I saw people's testimonies and people's journeys and I said to myself, well, why can't I do this? Why can't I build this? If other people are doing it, why can't I do it? And I'm doing it, and
Keep
because
patting,
I'm doing it.
girl.
And there were times, yes, absolutely. But that's when you get up and you go to work and you make it happen because no one is going to do it for you. And if you don't feed the mouths that are, calling you, mommy, I'm hungry, or you don't pay the mortgage, or you don't pay your car payment, no one is going to do it for you, you know? And why wouldn't you want more for yourself and your family? There's so many beautiful things out there to see. And seeing your kids' faces of happiness when you go pick them up and they open their arms to you, or whatever is your why, whatever your journey is, whatever your, the reasoning why you want to do it, do better for yourself. It can be done and it's proven, that it works.
I mean, I know why you're incredible, and I said it, I'm gonna say it again, is like your ability to have an abundant mindset when the room is dark is incredible. And because the fact that you knew you deserved more in your lowest moments, the fact that you choose to be a victor and not a victim is like so inspiring. And I hope other single mamas hear this, right? Like, girl, I'm married, I got one kid, and I'm like out of my mind sometimes. So like the fact that, you single moms or single dads, like,
Yes.
it's incredible the amount you have on your plate. And so the fact that you can build a business, be a mom, be a businesswoman, I mean, and be a victor, not a victim, even in the months in
Yeah.
the beginning where you're like, is this working? Is this worth it?
Right.
In the moments you wanted to quit, but you didn't. And so, I mean, I've told a lot of stories, Marleny. This is probably the one that's got me the most just emotionally charged because, like, you've had every reason.
Oh yeah.
And being a parent is the hardest job in the world. Being a business owner is cakewalk to that.
Oh God, yeah.
But those are two combined is incredible. And so to all the single moms being signing agents and single dads out there, like all of you inspire me, including you, Marleny. So thank you so much for having this conversation with me. If let me ask you this last question on the way out. If Marleny could build this business, can anybody build this business and why?
Anybody and anywhere. I'm not in a big city. There's no such thing as a big title company like Chicago Title, and you can go in and you're gonna have work. No, it's different here, but there's still business, and there's a lot of business.
I see you in the Facebook group. I see you at the trainings. And now to know your journey, it's even more incredible. So give the family love from me. Congratulations. And I'll see you next
Thank
time.
you. Thank you for having me.